Good evening. It's 5:02. Welcome to the September 16th meeting of the City of Snoqualmie Parks and Public Works Committee. We're going to start with a call to order and the roll call. It looks like it's myself and Mayor Pro Tem Holloway here. I believe that Councilmember Benson is on his way.
Yep.
But we'll go ahead and get started in light of timeliness.
Rule of order though, for the brief period before he gets here, I'm moved to excuse his temporary absence.
Yes,
And you're okay with that?
I'm fine with that. All right, first thing on the agenda is, of course, the agenda approval. Any issues or concerns with the agenda?
I would like, well, a standing discussion item on the pump station for the hospital, just to keep an eye on how that's going. See, as they were in here at least twice to have us go on that.
I think that's a timely topic.
Put it in discussion. If we don't get to it, we don't get to it, but if there's time, I'd still love to hear how that's going, and I'd love for this committee to keep an eye on that.
So if we can amend the agenda to reflect that, we may have that as a discussion item. Public comment is up next. I'm not seeing any unfamiliar faces in the audience. So our typical standard is that there will be no Zoom comments taken, but you can testify in person or send an email to the city clerk. Anything is greatly appreciated. Since nobody's in the audience, we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes dated September 3rd. I didn't see any issues with that.
I have no issues or comments.
So we'll go ahead and approve the minutes of September 3rd. And then first up for business is Agenda Bill AB 25-082 regarding the purchase of 3 new vehicles for water and stormwater division. The introduction, the adopted 2025-26 biennial budget includes funds for the purchase of 3 new pickup trucks for public works. The proposed motion is to approve the purchase of 3 Ford F-350 trucks.
Thank you. Philip Bennett, Deputy Director, Parks and Public Works, to speak to this agenda bill. We have already purchased many vehicles for this biennium for Public Works and other divisions in the city, but there were a few vehicles that were tied to the utility rates, and so we waited until the utility rates were passed and adopted prior to bringing this. So in the budget that was adopted last year, the biennial budget, these trucks were in that budget. They were also in the utility rates as well, both the purchase cost of the vehicles and the ER&R replacement cost over time. So we have 3 trucks. One is for the water division. Currently, we have a rental truck that one of the technicians is driving, and then the other 2 are for the stormwater and urban forestry division. And currently, what's being used there are some second life pickup trucks that originally came from the building department when our building department was bigger. So that's how things stand. The other thing I would highlight is that the appropriated amount is $401,706, but our total for this purchase is $360,843 for the 3 trucks. Plus all of the upfit that goes with that.
Any questions, sir?
Well, I do have a broader question. So once the rates were approved, there was at least one project that went over. By necessity, and there were some things to do. We've got another project on the agenda here that is going to go over. So is there still room in the budget for 3 trucks? Or what are the adjustments as a result of those overages in the budget that allows these 3 trucks to continue?
Absolutely. I think the short answer for this, the quickest one, is this is on the operations side of things, not on the capital side. So when those capital projects go over, we try to control the costs of overages on the capital side of the utility. So in this case, this is to support operations activities, the vehicles that the operators drive, and that's how this was budgeted in. And then we do control the overruns on, it depends on which utility. A lot of our utility projects that are going over are in the sewer side, and neither of these vehicles are in that group of activities. So we would try to control that to when a sewer project goes over, we try to control other sewer projects first. And if we have to expand others, it's quite a conversation. We don't really want to imbalance any utility to another. And then the other aspect is we don't want to burden the operations side if the capital side goes over, vice versa as well.
So where does the funding for capital come from?
It does come from the general fund as a transfer out. I'm not sure when exactly we transfer out, but Jana apparently does.
Well, no, my real point is it's also funded by the rates.
Yes.
Ultimately, it's also funded by the rates.
Everything in
Operations
utility.
is funded by the rates. All the stuff in utilities is funded by the rates.
Yes.
You could call it 4 pools of money, but it's still the same pools of money funding both sides.
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't make a distinction of, oh, here's capital, ignore that while I'm talking operations. You have to deal with it in total. Okay? Catch the itch I'm trying to scratch.
Okay.
I know we have projects we're going over. I haven't seen what are the adjustments as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to show me more than we will make adjustments, trust us. Tell me what adjustments are going on, okay? So that I feel comfortable. Okay? I have no problem with the trucks. I think trucks are appropriate. It's just the overall, I need to understand how we're managing, particularly when we start off in a condition where we're already tight in these funds due to some things that happened right after we approved the rates. Okay, so.
If I can too,
That may be a homework assignment. I'm not
yeah,
asking.
absolutely. My only addition is that this would be a good example of us maybe correcting the other way, since this is coming in under budget.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Again, in the operations side, but yes, in this case.
Appreciate that. Takes a village. I have no.
I have no
questions.
further questions. This is, and I
think-
wouldn't necessarily argue with it being on consent.
I know, I was just thinking it's no appropriation, so. Send it
But I'm
forward.
getting a look from
I just
DL.
can't hear. I'm sorry,
Oh.
I can't hear.
Sorry, I'm saying, we're arguing consent or non-consent.
We're thinking consent.
I'm thinking consent. Is that it?
All right, we'll send it forward. Thank you,
Thanks.
sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Harris, are you here for moral support? Thank you.
He wants his trucks.
We're gonna get the trucks. Yeah. All right, let's see. Next up is AB 25-085, the Kimball Creek Lift Station change order and project update. The Kimball Creek Lift Station improvements will replace aging electrical gear and provide more efficient operations at the WRF. The improvements are 90% complete and the lift station is operational. During construction, necessary out-of-scope services were identified and are presented in change order number 3. Proposed motion is to approve change order number 3 with Peas and Sons Incorporated.
Thank you,
Hello.
Councilmember Cotton. So I have a
presentation on the project update, and then I'll get into the change order and the agenda bill. So as you mentioned, the project is 90% complete. We're expecting to reach final completion this month, and we'll be commissioning the lift station improvements through the fall. So this Kimball Creek Lift Station is tied as part of the WRF Phase 3 project, WRF Phase 3 at the WRF. As you know, that's complete. The Kimball Creek Lift Station is the city's largest lift station that pumps to the treatment plant. So it affects the facility operations quite a bit. So it's bundled in to the Phase 3 projects. The lift station, which is located at the bottom of Snoqualmie Parkway, on the left there, bottom left, it is sized to pump 7,000 gallons per minute. So we were just doing some comparisons, but that's about 4 bathtubs every second. It has the ability to pump that. It's 10 times the size of the business park lift station that we were discussing at the last council meeting. That's at full capacity. Normally we like to run it at about much smaller than that. So maybe half a bathtub a second. So.
Getting a visual.
From ERUs to bathtubs, all right.
And this pumps across the Snoqualmie River, either along the SR 202 bridge. There's one pipe that goes there, or it goes beneath the river in a pipe that was bored in 2008 beneath the Snoqualmie River.
The significance of the colors?
Yes, sorry, those are not legible. So the green is a performance improvement project. The pink is an in-kind replacement due to normal wear and tear, and the bluish purple is a capacity increase.
Okay.
So the oxidation ditch and the solid handling facility received capacity increases. The Kimball Creek Lift Station was built 25 years ago, and a lot of the electrical gear reached the end of its life.
So, Mr. Writing, were the hoses and couplings that were out by the lift station here just this past week, was that what was being used during the construction? Because those were huge.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I've got a
diameter
lot
was.
of pictures. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll show some of that. Yep. So just a recap on the project. We actually designed this project in 2022. We bid it in 2022 as well. It was delayed because of electrical equipment, which took over a year to acquire. We were hoping to construct it last summer, but because of that delay, we started in the summer. Because of the potential for rain flows to impact the facility, we're limited to complete the project during summer months. But here we are, last checkbox, we're wrapping it up. This is a big milestone. So the design criteria, the goals of this project was to replace equipment that's 25 years old, and then to reduce the flow spikes to the treatment facility, which occur 5 or 6 times an hour, and all the equipment in that facility is going to spin up, speed up, and then spin down. So we've made improvements that we call the jockey pump, a pump that will kind of create a constant flow to the treatment facility.
So that'll make the flow more like the green line.
That's right. Yeah. So the blue is what we see now, or what we saw before this project. The green is the 2-hour rolling average, which we're hoping to operate closer to that. So
And that increases the lifespan of the equipment when it is able to run like that instead of all spiky.
absolutely, all the equipment in the WRF, not just the pump station. So. And we actually see, these are kind of like little waves that go through our facility, and we see impacts to our performance of the treatment facility when we get those waves. These pictures are not as big as I was expecting, but this is construction. We started in June of summer, and those pipes are large. They're 12 to 14 inches in diameter. And during the bypass. So we bypassed the lift station, which means we shut everything down, shut down power, and brought out 2 diesel pumps that would run in place of the lift station. We bypassed it for 50 days. One of those diesel pumps is a backup, just like we have a backup pump at the lift station. Kind of on the upper left, you can see that's the 3D model that our engineer put together as part of their design of the improvements. Each of those blue squares is a 20-foot deep, we call it a wet well. So that's where the pumps live. We modified one of them, which received the new jockey pump. And then the other side of this project was the electrical gear. So we replaced all the major electrical equipment in the facility, which is why we had to shut things down for 50 days. A couple things we encountered. The bottom right there, we did find wear on the facility. One of our wires was cooked pretty good, and we had to replace it. And we were very mindful of the equipment we replaced would have another 30 years of life with it. And then this just tries to show the improvements as they're complete now. The top right, that's all the new electrical equipment in the existing room. The top left is that 20-foot wet well that I was talking about. And then the bottom left is actually the bottom of that wet well where they replaced what we call a pre-rotation basin, which is where the sewer comes in. There'll be a pump that sits right in the middle of that little hot tub looking basin, and that's what will pump the sewer. Bottom right is the new interface for our operators to use to control the facility. And this facility, before it was kind of a one-way conversation back to the WRF. Now it's a two-way conversation. So it can also receive data from the WRF and send it back, and we'll be coordinating the operations together. So that's it for the presentation here. Overall, as I mentioned, 50 bypass pumping days, 16 submittals, 22 RFIs. It was a lot smaller than the WRF improvements, but in terms of criticality and scale of the facility, it was pretty important for the city. And it's nice to have those bypass days behind us. And with this change order, a lot of it related to mechanical and electrical retrofit. They were small changes, but because it's a 14-inch pipe that has to be coated in another city and acquired on a timeline with a bypass running, things are more expensive because of that. So that's really what a lot of this change order comes down to. The biggest item of the change order is, so the total change order was $85,552, with the largest item being approximately I think $20,000 or $25,000 for the structural demo work in the bottom of that wet well. They encountered more concrete as well as rebar in that. We did inquire with our engineer about that. Should we have seen that ahead of time? It wasn't, that detail was not available in our as-built information. And one of the challenges is with a facility like this, it's difficult to take it offline. I think we could try to make a bigger effort to collect data up front so that we have that data, but it would require a facility shutdown, which involves a lot of coordination with operations, and it's hard to tell if it's worth the money and risk associated with that. There's a number of conductors, which are large cables that feed it, that were not long enough, so we had to replace those. We did receive a credit in the change order for an antenna that the city had installed prior to the project that is captured in this change order. And in our discussions with RH2, they did redesign some of the wet well and the piping associated with some of these changes, and they're looking at writing that portion of their work off so that we're not getting charged for that effort. They're not absorbing the construction costs. Those are real costs that we're feeling with this change order. And really with that, when this project is complete later this month, it'll be a close to the WRF Phase 3 improvements. Overall, the construction cost for WRF Phase 3 was under 2% and was completed in approximately 2 years.
So the overall cost came in under by 2%?
The cost of change order. So the total construction cost, including Kimball Creek Lift Station and all of WRF, we had approximately 2% change orders. So, which is
That's standard or good?
under 5% is good.
I was gonna say, it sounded really good to me, but
Yes, I think, even at the WRF, these retrofit projects, I think, are a little bit more risk and more challenging because you have those unknowns that you can't modify. So when we did retrofits at the WRF, we experienced some similar changes.
Mr. Holloway, any questions?
No, but opportunity for lessons learned, and we're gonna do that other pump station for the hospital, and you were talking about the things, maybe we could have looked at this, maybe could we
Can you please speak
take
into
it
the
forward
mic?
to that? Oh, I'm comfortable. Oh, okay, I'm just saying, take the lessons learned, apply it to the next one, and maybe we can avoid some of those costs.
That was one of my questions. I have two questions. One being that, yes, do we suspect any other retrofits of this era where we might encounter similar situations with concrete and rebar in places that we weren't anticipating that being, or have we kind of come through all of those with the WRF and this particular pump station? Is there any other significant concerns going forward with any other pump stations that might be coming onto the radar with the wet wells or anything like that? I mean, was that a standard practice when they put these in?
Well, it's hard. I wasn't, when they
Yeah,
put this
I
in, I
know.
was 10 years old, but it's the same manufacturer that designed this pre-rotation basin. And actually now they don't we put grout in, we didn't put rebar, we didn't put concrete, and that's what their standard is today.
Okay.
So they've changed their standard over the 20 years. I think that anytime you do subsurface work, there's risk because we don't have magic lens what's in the ground.
Right.
But we try to build that into our contracts a little bit with sometimes there's unknown subsurface conditions line items. So yeah, electrical, I think that this project, actually, the electrical went really well. We did find some cables that were too short. We found one that was toasted that should have been, it's good we caught it. We're gonna try to make sure we catch these if there's any other facilities after that issue with our reservoir or our large pump station last year. We're very mindful of making sure that these conductors are tightened and torqued right. But the equipment that is in this upper right that took so long to receive, there's a lot of QA QC in that. We do a factory test of it before it's even brought to the site so that when you get it out there, you're not shut down and then suddenly you're on a 6-month wait for a piece of equipment. Everything worked when we plugged it in, when we hooked it up. But there's risk with that, so there's costs associated with that. So if you can avoid electrical work, that's great, but subsurface work has its own unknowns. I think we try to build it into our contracts. We can't totally eliminate it. So,
Right. My second question is, I saw that we replaced one of the 3 pumps with the base flow pump. Will we be, what will we be doing with that pump that we replaced? I mean, will we keep it as a backup? Do we try and sell it for parts? Is there any particular plan with that?
Yeah, we keep it as a backup. We actually are required by state standards to keep it as a backup, because as I mentioned, it's 7,000 gallons per minute is the pumping capacity of this.
Mhm.
If you look here on the right, I don't know if you can, probably hard to see, but that flow gallons per minute, that's 4,000 at the top. We never reached 7,000, but we have that built into our facility. So if we were to not keep that pump on hand, we wouldn't have a shelf spare, and then we wouldn't be at the we would be reducing the capacity of the facility. We don't want to do that. We don't. So, hopefully that answers your question. We have it stored. It's a big pump. It's 6,000 pounds, 7 feet tall. It's not easy to move around, but,
Right, but if you have an issue with one of the existing pumps in service, you don't have order lead time to deal with. You can pull that spare off the shelf and get in it.
that's right. And this is arguably, our most critical facility, at least for pump stations. We have a lift truck that has the ability to transport that and lift it as well. And we have, all a gantry on site that can move it on site. So,
Does the pump
set up.
theoretically have much shelf life left, I guess I would say, or use life?
We're
I-
gonna refurbish it, right?
we'll
Spare parts
refurbish
will be
it. We'll
replaced,
clean it up. One of the pumps we installed in 2012, 2013. So it's, a little over 10 years, but I think it does have shelf life. So,
Great.
and that green line really falls, it's in the 900 to 2,000 gallons per minute range. So this base flow pump will be carrying most of that flow. So our idea is we're going to run a bunch of hours on it. We have a spare. When it breaks, we replace it. It's kind of the sacrificial
Yeah,
pump at this facility moving forward. I shouldn't say sacrificial, but it's going to get the wear and tear.
yeah,
So
cool.
But it's a base load pump by design.
it's a base flow pump,
Yeah.
as in jockey base flow pump. It's variable speed. That's how it's different from the other ones. So it's going to be trying to match that green line the whole time. So it's not going to cycle like most of our pumps do.
Right.
It'll just run all the time.
Great.
And we'll be bringing that onto the site Thursday to start it up and get everything checked out.
Super. Any other concerns, questions?
Oh, I'd love to geek out on it, but no.
Non-consent? It's 85,000.
Sure.
All right, we'll move forward to next council, non-consent. Thank you. Well, it's 5:30, so we do have some discussion time.
And
We have director report.
report staffing, project staff.
Did you want to do the other lift station prior to director reports?
Who can give us the information on
Andrew?
I have a team of two.
Well,
that?
at this stage, I mean, you're very early on, invoice go out. Did contract get committed?
That's why we're starting with Drew.
So I'm happy to report, council members, that we have received the deposit from the hospital. Last Thursday, I believe, we received that money, and so we're thankful to the hospital for being responsive to the agenda bill that council has passed. And with that said, I guess I can turn it over to Andrew for any additional comments on the lift station.
So we received the deposit. The contract was executed last week with RH2 to begin the work. The first steps is going to be getting a surveyor. Well, there's a couple first steps, but we'll have a surveyor on site, and we'll do utility locate, so we see what utilities are out there. We'll have a surveyor come out to pick all that up on survey, and then at the same time, the we'll be installing 3 different data loggers at the site to collect pressure data and pump run data. We're scheduled to get those data loggers tomorrow, probably install them early next week. And the utility locate work is going to happen Thursday of this week. So things are moving along.
Moving right along. Super. Thank you, Mr. Vining.
I have a quick question. You were, and maybe you just talked about it while I was writing a note, but you were gonna work on, trying to get a little quicker, response from them, that they'd be able to maybe shave a few weeks up to a month off the
Yeah,
commercial part?
yeah.
Any word on that?
No official word. These are team efforts. We get the data loggers. It's our staff that are installing them. We're going to start up the same staff. We're starting up this jockey base flow pump at Kimball Thursday, Friday this week. So it's probably next week that we're going to get the data loggers installed. There is, we're going to move quickly with RH2 on it. I think that early December is realistic.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
So this is just, this is a priority for you guys, and you're getting this done as quick as you can for.
That's right.
I think that'll mean a lot to the project, which is enormous. So thank you for that.
Yes. Yep. We're on it. We've got subcontractors out there working. So
That's great.
And plus at this stage, ours too understands the desire for sooner than later. And
yes.
that's all you can really expect at this stage. You guys are just ink still wet on the contract.
Thank you for communicating that.
Would you like a report from the staffing perspective and other projects?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Director Bennett, thank you.
So pleased to announce we've hired an administrative specialist 3 position. So we did interviews last week, and we've hired a great candidate who will start on October 6th. So that is much needed help for Parks and Public Works. We're grateful for that. We have hired a park superintendent, parks and street superintendent from in-house, Ryan Barnett. And so now that opens up the lead position in parks, and we are in the hiring process for that. So the hiring window closes on the 18th, 2 days from now. And then we'll be moving to interviews and hoping to get that position hired in October. So those are current things that are going on with staffing. I wanted to tell you about a couple of projects that are actually in-house, not CIP projects. I just want to let you know about, and then I'm going to punt to my colleagues for some more updates, particularly on the reclaimed. So I've mentioned to you before, we've been able to tackle some projects in-house that perhaps before we had the staff and ability to do it, they would have been contracted projects. So we've tackled a couple more. Both of them are stormwater projects. One was on the Snoqualmie Parkway walking trail on the shoulder by Jeannie Hansen. Don't know if you recall from driving up there in the winter, but water sheets across that path. Then it freezes, and then obviously that's a problem. So staff, in combination with a Vector truck, a contracted Vector truck, took care of that project 2 weeks ago. So it was 450 linear feet of excavation. A new pipe was installed, bedded in gravel, in drain rock, and connected to a ditch, an existing ditch on the downslope. So that is now taken care of. And then last week, actually wrapping up yesterday, on Ridge Street, we fixed Snoqualmie Falls 2. So I don't know if you've heard of Snoqualmie Falls 2, but this winter we had issues. We had stormwater issues on Ridge Street. We had backups that caused, that were a pipe that was blocked underneath Ridge Street that backed up all the way to the top of a retaining wall along the homes at the neighborhood at the end there. And so we had water cascading down some steps, and we also had water cascading. So I guess this is actually Snoqualmie Falls 2 and 3, because water was coming out at 2 places where we didn't want it. It was displacing gravel, it's pushing gravel into the road. And so we dug that pipe up, we removed it, and we replaced it with a new pipe. And and then have backfilled. So those are two projects we're able to accomplish in-house. So thanks for the resources that we were able to do that with. And with that, I will defer to Andrew. Could you come and give an update on the reclaimed?
So the reclaimed water distribution improvements, which includes a new reservoir, 400,000 gallon reservoir, and pump station located on Ridge Street. They're making good progress on that. We had a large pour, I believe that was last week, for the foundation of the reservoir, and then we're starting to pour the foundation of the pump station as well. We have an excellent team out there. RH2 is providing construction management on site. Prospect, who did the WRF, is the general contractor, and they've got a subcontractor who makes these pre-stressed concrete reservoirs all over the Northwest, and they are very efficient with it. It's impressive to see them.
Concrete form was impressive. The circular base, it was
Yeah, I don't know if
art, just about, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many 100 pounds of rebar there were in that, but I guess two guys did it in like 2 days. I mean, it's impressive. And things are going well on that. We expect they're going to be pouring the walls later this month. They're going to pour the walls of the reservoir in about 5 pours. And then they wrap it with rebar to reinforce it before they get the lid on top. We should have walls and reinforcement by December on this project, and it's on schedule to be completed prior to June 30th, 2026. So we are on schedule. The last time I gave an update on this, we were dealing with the bird delay up front. We've been working with the contractor to reach an agreeable amount on that change order, and I'll be bringing that forward, but we're looking at kind of balancing it with a large credit change order for some of the site improvements to hopefully absorb some of those costs into the project as much as we can. But overall, the project's going well. We got a good team working on it, and we'll get some more photo updates of the next concrete pours.
Great. Thank you. Any other
Did it, Phil?
exciting city projects going on with Parks and Public Works? I see we're having a tree planting out on Park Street.
She found it.
You played right into my hands. Yep. So we're doing Green Snoqualmie Day again down in the valley. So I think it's October 2nd. That's the Saturday. And what we're doing this year is a little bit different. We're doing 2 events. So one is we're doing the normal tree planting. And so there's an area that's already prepped for that. That's going to extend a buffer that King County planted and bring it all the way to Park Street. But we're also going to go back to an area that we did last year, and we're going to do infill planting. We're going to replace anything that didn't make it through the summer, and we're going to plant shrubs between. And then on the same day, we're having an orchardist, somebody who knows about fruit trees and fruit tree pruning, come out to the orchard that's there, the community orchard, and they're going to give a demonstration on how you prune fruit trees, how you get the most out of your fruit trees that residents can attend. So that's kind of a bonus to Green Snoqualmie Day this year.
Excellent.
That's good. That's also going to be October 2nd.
Correct.
It's October 4th.
My apologies. Thank you, Mayor.
4th. Yeah. My wife will probably want to be there.
Beyond that, we're looking ahead. So just around the corner, the leaves are coming off the trees. We've got to clean that up. I guess that's my fault. And then also we have, we'll be looking forward to doing the Halloween celebrations. And then also we're looking to be doing another great Christmas display in the town, both on Center Street and downtown. So that's next.
Great. Any questions or concerns for us?
Nope, just thanks for the support.
Oh,
Oh, Mr. Vining has one more thing.
Just one more item on the reclaimed reservoir improvements that I hadn't mentioned, but it's good news for us. With the state funding that we received on that, we've been submitting reimbursement requests, and the first one goes back, we're able to date it all the way back to 2020. I think it's 2024, January. So we are able to ask for funds associated with design. Again, these aren't grant funds, but it's low interest loan, but it's cash in the door. And I think we've received, I want to say it's around 1.5 million in reimbursement through that in the last couple months. So that helps our utility funding up front.
Excellent. That's good news. Great. All right. Council members, any other comments,
For me.
concerns?
Here.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to remind folks out there in TV land that and the finance departments here could do a much better job than me, but because our credit card processor changed, everybody needs to go into their utility accounts and update their payment information. And approximately 400 people still need to do that. And there's 549 notices going out this week to remind people to do that. So I just wanted to bring that up.
That's a great point. Director Boutte, do you have anything you want to add to that?
So roughly the number of accounts is equal to about 10 to 12% of the total kind of accounts that we have at the city overall. We're hoping to learn more as people kind of pick up the notices overall and hopefully respond appropriately to that. And we want to make sure that we're taking a cautious approach as well, because we realize that there could potentially be any sort of number of issues that could have arose that would have prevented someone from, for example, signing up correctly or who knows what. So we're going to take a cautious approach to this, and we want to make sure that we get everyone in place and make sure that we can process our payments accurately and so on. So that's the tone and that we intend to take in the finance department. And we're hoping that people sign up, respond to the notices, and we're here to answer any questions or emails. So if council happens to receive any, or if any citizen watching this Parks Public Works Committee meeting tonight is watching too, we're here to help you and respond to you and let us help you. So thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. All right, I think if we've had enough fun, all things being said at Parks and Public Works, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Even makes me here to make the motion. All right.
Thanks for that, Councilmember Benson.
Thanks for sharing.
And I agree.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 5:06. Thank you.